Have you ever had an experience where you saw that God was more? What do you think of when you think of God? Don't think of what your parent, pastor, teacher, or friend might say. Think of what you really feel. You don't have to answer out loud, so be honest. What really comes to mind? What does your life show that you think? Most of us are satisfied with a small view of God. I want you to know God is more.
Have you ever struggled to be happy or feel good about yourself? Happiness is what we're all chasing after. We do things, we play sports, we hang out with friends, we join these clubs, and all these things are ways that we seek to be happy. But I don't know about you, but for me, I've done all those things, and there's been plenty of times in my life where I've not been happy. And the problem is when we focus on those things, it makes it all about us. I'm doing this for me. I'm doing that for me. But the reality is, for us to have deep-seated true happiness, we need to look to the source of happiness, which is Jesus. Listen to what Paul says in Philippians. For to me, living means living for Christ, and dying is even better. But if I live, I can do more fruitful work for Christ, so I really don't know which is better. I'm torn between two desires. I long to go and be with Christ, which would be far better for me. But for your sakes, it is better that I continue to live. Knowing this, I'm convinced that I will remain alive so that I can continue to help all of you grow and experience the joy of your faith. And when I come to you again, you will have even more reason to take pride in Christ Jesus because of what he is doing through me. Listen to the tension he feels between serving Christ and going to be with Christ in glory. Whether you live or die today, are you happy and would God be satisfied? Pastor John Piper always says, God is most glorified when we are most satisfied in him. You see, because God is the creator, he designed us, and he made us to run creation, but ultimately he made us to run creation for his glory. Kind of like when my son Theo, he builds a Lego. He's so proud of it. He's like, Daddy, look at this Lego. And when the Lego breaks, he gets upset. And then the Lego, it doesn't look as good as it used to, right? Because it got messed up. It's not living into its purpose. When we live into our purpose, we're living in and we're glorifying God. But not only that, we're most satisfied because that's how God designed us to live. And when we desire to find our satisfaction in living the way that God designed us, statements like this from Jesus make a whole lot more sense. He says, if you cling to your life, you will lose it. But if you give up your life for me, then you will find it. Or like Paul said earlier, to live is Christ and to die is gain. When you live this way, you're going to find ultimate freedom because you're no longer bound by circumstances, but you're linked to God, who is the ultimate source of love and joy and happiness. You may have thought about what it's like one day to be married. If you're married and you're in love with somebody, is it selfish of you to want to spend time with them? Is it selfish of you to give up things for them because you love them so much? No, you're going to actually make choices that seem crazy to the world because you love that person. And God isn't asking you to go out on a limb to do this. He actually did that for you. Think about this. Christ died for you. God sent his son for you because he loved you that much. And he's asking you to be so satisfied in himself that then you are willing to give up your life for Christ. At the end of the Philippians passage, Paul puts it this way. He says that he wants them to grow and experience the joy of their faith. May you all go and experience the joy of your faith. As you break out into small groups, I want you to talk about these things. When you think through your relationship with Jesus, does it bring you joy? Why or why not? Why do we chase other things to try and satisfy us instead of Jesus? Read Philippians 4:4-7, and talk about how you can find your joy in the Lord.